your newborn baby have a hip ultrasound scan just to check if they have developmental dysplasia of the hips, or more commonly known as clicky hips? Did you know that there's many errors that can happen between getting a scan and having a report on the scan and ultimately determining if your baby's hips are good or not? Hi there, it's Neesha from My Favourite Physio. In today's video, I'm jumping in to share with you 3 common mistakes that we see happens quite a lot when it comes to hip ultrasound scans and assessing and diagnosing baby if they have developmental dysplasia of the hips or not. So here at My Favourite Physio, our expert pediatric physiotherapists are particularly trained and specialized in assessing, diagnosing, and treating babies for clicky hips, or known as developmental dysplasia of the hips. We find that often when we review babies and their hip ultrasound scan, there are 3 common mistakes that's happening. It is shocking and it's happening, and we really just want you out there as a parent to be aware of this and really seek the right expertise to assess your baby's hips. So the first common mistake we see is that hip ultrasound scans are not done correctly. That sounds really shocking because you would expect the person who is trained to do hip ultrasounds, the ultrasonographer, should be well trained enough to do it correctly. Unfortunately, that's not what is happening out there. We have been finding many ultrasonographers who are training in doing babies' hips, or even really experienced ultrasonographer with 20 years of experience doing it wrong. So the problem here is when the scan is done, if it's not done correctly, we're getting a wrong reading about baby's hips. The biggest issue is GPs, pediatricians, and specialists are not looking at these scans, and even if they do, they don't know what they're looking for. So wrong scans are just accepted as they are. So the first problem is the ultrasound is incorrect. That means some babies' hips are not well formed and it is being missed. Here at My Favourite Physio, our expert pediatric physiotherapists will actually go in, look at the scans, and if we think it's not correct, we would then liaise with an expert ultrasonographer to double check them. And we have, unfortunately, too many times found that those scans are not correct, just as we thought. The second common mistake is we find that the reports based on the scans are incorrect because the scans are incorrect. So a radiologist actually reviews the ultrasonographer's scan and writes the report. They should be able to look at this and say, that scan is incorrect. Your readings are wrong. It's not an accurate assessment of baby's hips. Unfortunately, that doesn't happen. You get the ultrasonographer do a wrong scan, the radiologist is then taking the numbers from that scan and doing the report. So then again, doctors send these reports. They don't realize that 2 people have made a mistake in their jobs, and so your baby is misdiagnosed. We are picking up on those mistakes and really speaking to those radiologists and actually often getting another scan done for baby, one with a ultrasonographer who is able to do hip scans correctly. So the second mistake is radiologist is reporting on a wrong scan. The third common mistake we find is that the scan could be done right, the numbers are there, so we're looking at hip coverage, we're looking at hip angles like alpha and beta, and the ultrasonographer has done it right, but we're finding that the radiologist is reporting completely different. It's as if they've got the wrong child. So the problem here now lies in that doctors and specialists read the report, they don't look at scans, they're assuming the radiologist got it right, but nobody's checking. Here at My Favourite Physio, we check. Our expert pediatric physiotherapists would check your scans, check your reports, and we're picking up many mistakes, which ultimately leads to your baby not getting a right diagnosis and therefore clicky hips or developmental dysplasia of the hips are missed. And down the road, when babies can't walk because they don't have a hip to walk on, it's a major issue. So we take hip assessments, diagnosis, and scans very seriously. We just want to jump in there and let you know, because many parents would assume the GP understands their scans, the GP, the pediatrician, they understand what is going on in the scans. They understand when the scan is right or wrong. They understand when the radiologist got it right or wrong. But in reality, they're not. They're reading the final report from the radiologist, and if they've made a mistake, then your baby's not correctly treated or diagnosed. So if you're out there and your babies have a hip ultrasound scan, it's important to get a second opinion with an expert pediatric physiotherapist. If you would like to speak to one of our expert pediatric physiotherapists, the number to ring here at My Favorite Physio is 02-9790-4233. And if you know somebody out there who's got a newborn baby, had a hip ultrasound scan, and you just want to help them double check that the baby's hips are right, the scans are right, they've got the right diagnosis, why don't you like and share this video with them? Until next time, have a great day. Bye.